Hello, everyone, and welcome to Musing, music for the adventurous listener here on CJSW 90.9 FM in Calgary. I'm your host, Janna Sailor. On today's episode, we have two intrepid guests from the groundbreaking all-female jazz fusion ensemble, the Ostara Project. We'll talk about all things Ostara in just a moment, but first, let's take a listen to an excerpt from their extraordinary new album entitled Roots.
Button
The Ostara Project, named for the Germanic goddess of the spring equinox, embodies hope and growth by showcasing the strength and creativity of Canadian women in jazz. Ostara artists are all acclaimed musicians, composers, and band leaders who truly reflect the cultural and creative diversity of Canada's musical landscape. Today, I have the privilege of being in conversation with Ostara's fearless band manager, Lisa Buck, who joins me here in the studio, and bassist extraordinaire and one of Ostara's founding members, Jodi Proznick, joining in by phone. If you tuned in last week, you would have heard part one of our in-depth conversation and excerpts from their latest album, Roots. Here is part two of the Ostara Project in conversation. Let's listen in. We've touched on it right off the top when we were talking about Ostara's role in the ecosystem, but let's talk about what is perhaps the elephant in the room, which is female representation and leadership in the jazz scene. Both of you are very active advocates for equity and supporting women in the jazz scene in your various spheres. Can we dive into your approach and your thoughts on that and where we are historically in context with the inclusion of women in jazz?
This is a timely topic for me. I've just come back 2 days ago from Helsinki and Copenhagen. I have an association with Jazz Denmark, who are the global leader in something called Jazz Camp for Girls. Their initiative started in 2015 when they did a survey and found in their music industry, right across genres, women were represented by about 30% of the population. In jazz, it's significantly less than that. So estimates are that in North America, 5% of the professional instrumentalists in jazz are female identifying. So that's egregious. And it tells you that there's something other than lack of interest going on there that's creating a barrier. And I think it's a lovely thought that we could just all let people be artists together and eventually there'd be an evolution towards equity. But the truth is, if the gatekeepers are all male, and in jazz, people tend to play with their buddies and hang with their buddies, and it's not always a conscious attempt to keep women out of those spheres of influence and creativity, but it's just the default that men have hung out with men. At some point, you have to insert yourself into that system pretty strongly. I have an 18-month-old grandson, and I was reading him a book that I had bought that was a little sound book where you push the button and it plays a song. And there's 6 tunes in this, and there's a little band that are little people that are playing. And with all the discussion of Canadian sovereignty and culture happening, I was looking at the book with slightly different eyes. And I thought, oh, all these songs are from the American Songbook. I guess I can give that a pass. However, it would be nice if we had some of our amazing Canadian musicians represented. And then I looked at this book again, which I probably read 20 times at this point. And I thought, oh, and all of the musicians are male. All of them. Even the little cat who was the mascot in every picture, he's a male. And so I thought, wow, I can't believe I didn't see that before, but we don't because that's the default. So I quickly ordered the other 2 sound books that I could find, and so that I could examine them. Same thing. So of these 3 books, there were 55 musicians represented that were male. There were 2 women that were musicians. One was a singer in that classic, sexy kind of 1950s torchlight song.
Almost
song
a caricature.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Curvy and beautiful. And the other one was a singer pianist. And everybody else, including, again, the supporting cast of little characters. Everybody seems to like to have jazz cats. It's not just that the jazz cats have little bow ties and hats, but I found it hilarious that 2 of the books had a ginger cat. And ginger cats, 80% of them are male.
It's true.
So
I have a male ginger cat.
there you go. So I looked at that, and then I thought, I'm reading this to my 18-month-old grandson. I wonder what sort of imprinting, what's the imprinting age when people start to recognize gender? So I read some of the research into that and found that, yeah, around 18 months, children start to pick up on gender identifiers. They start to make connections between gender-specific professions and activities. In the same book, the women that were represented, there was a mother with a baby, there was a little girl sweeping the floor, and there was a girl handling the coffee pot. So those were the female roles. So you realize that that's our default. and it's so endemic that we don't even recognize it. And I think that in some cases there's been a toxic culture that has served people to propagate. And in many other ways, it's been there for so long that we don't question it. And the thing about Ostara being a lighthouse is as soon as you gather 5 women in one place and put them on stage, they don't even have to play a note and they've made a statement, because that is so unusual. It's so unusual that it has to be deliberate. And I think it's really important for the listening public, for all of us, to realize that this isn't just people jumping up and down and saying, no, we want to be included. It's a matter of justice and fairness, but it's also part of wanting the music to be the best that it can be. The more voices, the voices that we have that are included from all walks of life, the more rich the music is. And not to put aside the social justice issue, because it really is that. So I think we need, as a society, not only to have groups like Ostara that are adults that are providing representation, the old idea that you have to see it to be it, but we have to start to insert ourselves into music education and children's books so that we are not, by the time girls are looking to pick up an instrument in junior high, they haven't had already 12 years of indoctrination that it's only men who are creatives.
Singing low, bye Blackbird. Where someone waits for me, sugar is sweet and so is he. Bye Blackbird. No one here can love or understand me.
I think that the point I want to make is that I totally agree with everything Lisa's saying. And I would also say that currently the director of jazz studies at the VDSO school, I can't understate the importance of me in this body being in charge of a place, because parents will see this as a space that they can send their young daughters to. And it has been game-changing because, like, for example, summer jazz workshops, that's next week. I hire a teaching assistant team every summer. For the first few years, it was predominantly male. This year, one of my weeks is all girls and non-binary people who are currently studying jazz at sometimes Juilliard, McGill, Berkeley. That all came through this program when they started when they were 12 or 13. So I always say to people, like, to change the game, this is a long-term story. We're not going to snap our fingers and create it overnight. But we have to be laser focused in creating spaces that feel where the people who are entering the spaces are seeing themselves in leadership. And I think that is a game changer. I don't have to go on and on about being a woman and playing jazz. I am a woman who plays jazz. So that's self-explanatory. It's, I could do that too. Great. So tons of young women bassists. One of my students right now has made it into Juilliard, one of 5 students this year, or 6 students make it in the program. She's been with me since she was 12 and 13 and has great support and by family and all that stuff. They have to see themselves in these and see a pathway for them. It's super important. So I would say there's a whole bunch of things that need to happen. One is the amplifying these great artists and composers and women and making sure that we're getting the platforms and concerts and spaces in the professional world, shift the perspective of the general audience. And then in educational spaces, we have to be laser focused in amplifying and supporting, and not just this is how you do this, but understanding that there will be key moments where they may feel like they have to put armor up. Maybe this isn't for me. And we have to help them work through those pivotal moments, and that they know they have back pocket people out in the field, such as myself or Lisa or Allison Au or Rochelle Therrien, who are there for them that they can always call. So the mentorship is key. Right? Being available. I think for many years, women, and I did it too, we keep our head down and we just oh my gosh, it's such a minefield. So I'm just going to keep my head down and stay focused on my own thing. That will be enough. And I think a lot of us are now realizing that we have to be more available for these conversations, be more available to young people who are looking for mentorship or guidance, because we're at this new day. It's a new chapter. And I will say on a positive note, 40 years ago, I never would have been doing this. Things have changed. I'm the director of a program at the Vancouver Symphony Orchestra School of Music. That was Bramwell Tovey giving me that opportunity. He saw something in me. And so I have a lot to thank for those men who have been progressive and been able to wrap their arms around the potential of a young, small woman being part of this music. But there needs to be a lot more of that.
Your cry is the song of the universe. answers the call of the universe. Your feet walk the rhythm of life. Your life sailing out to the stars. Your life is a work of art.
I love the story of Allison Au. Allison is a wonderful saxophonist, and the first female that she saw playing saxophone was Lisa Simpson on the cartoon. And she said first time, and she thought that was really cool. But then that was solidified when Allison's high school band teacher was a female who played the saxophone. And there's that representation of, oh, this is neat, and here are these women that are doing that. And Allison, coming from an East Asian background too, not only does she represent women, but she's had young girls of the same ethnic background as her come up and say, I've never seen anyone of our cultural background as a jazz musician. There's just such power in seeing yourself on stage. And if you don't see that, it's sometimes hard to imagine that's a possibility. And just embracing the power of representation, and then having, as Jodi alluded to, these wonderful, ethical, great women who provide leadership in a really compassionate way.
For sure. I want to add just one last comment about that, is that I feel like we're at this really interesting time that is so exciting, because for me, there's an awakening happening. Like, for a long time, this was not discussed at all, ever. And now it's discussed a lot. And it's discussed all over the place in all of the music education space all over. It's just a recognition that we're not doing enough. We're not doing good enough. So it's very exciting times. I see this as full of possibility and potential. As my son really eloquently said to me about all the things, he says, Mom, the internet is so new. Cell phones are new. Feminism is new. It's new. Like, it's in the big scheme of human history, we are just beginning. And I go, no, we want it all now. We want it to be fixed tomorrow. But it's drip by drip. It's gig by gig, conducting a show one at a time. And you may drip a seed of potential or drop a seed of potential in one person in that room, and you don't even necessarily know, because the results may be years to come from now, and you may never see them. But I know in my heart that all this work that we're all doing is making an impact. We may not see it in our lifetime, but it is absolutely making an impact. And I sleep really well at night knowing that I'm on the equity and justice train, doing the work that we do, and doing it with a joyful heart and a smile. Again, there's times where we need to be angry and upset over what we're seeing. There's certainly lots in the news, especially in the music industry, that is exploitive and terrible. But also, like, yes, this is happening, and people are waking up. And that's good.
Pale blue moon is shining. She's lying on the floor. Her hands are lying on her chest. This fire she can't ignore. She's carrying heavy armor. She has to let it go. She wrestles with this mighty hook. A tired of disappointment. She's tired of all the wait. She's looked inside their weary eyes, the words that came too late. She saw the thoughts that caused the pain, so blind they could not see. She knows that she must lose these chains. She
I loved the fact that you touched on the importance of opening doors for one another, and that if you have opportunity or privilege, to me, it's your responsibility is to open those doors and windows for those that come after you. And I love that you touched on that in a couple ways, and how you were able to play that role for Shruti, Jodi, and then also how someone in a place of power and influence like Bram Multovy was able to, enact such profound change in the lives of so many young people by the act of creating this jazz program and appointing you at the head of it, Jodi. I think that's really important to also to give credit to those door openers as we go through life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the whole DEI thing, which is under assault now in a number of realms, rather than being super discouraged about that, I'm just seeing it as a place that we can now lean into in Canada, because those are values that we continue to embrace. The nonprofit where I'm an artistic director, I'd read a report that was Canadian, issued last year, called Share the Air. And it's about radio play and the fact that women are severely underrepresented in Canadian radio play across all genres as well. It's the common story. And I pitched to my board that we started what we call the Jane Doe Fund. And Doe is spelled D-O-U-G-H. Because I think that we're at the point where we, particularly women, we know what the issues are. We've identified them. Now we just need money to fix it. We need to just fund artistic products, but we need to particularly lean into funding women band leaders, women composers, women's voices, because they are people who have not had access to the mentorship in the same way that men have. And yes, there have been wonderful men, as Jodi has mentioned, along the way, but women have not had access to the gatekeepers and the power makers as much. And now that we're starting to get women like Jodi and others across the country, we just need to facilitate that mentorship. And frankly, that takes resources. You simply have to put your money where your mouth is and make sure that those programs are funded so that we are creating those platforms. Now that we're starting to get women, we're wedging them into positions of authority. So let's make sure that we're providing that access.
And money is the ultimate door opener.
It is.
Ultimately.
That's the reality. Yeah. Yeah, you can talk about philosophy all you like, but if people can't afford to make albums or tour the country, then, you're going to be a bunch of representatives sitting in your basement, and that's not going to do a lot of good. So you do have to get out there. I'm super grateful that Ostara's received great support from Creative BC, from the Canada Council. So we're very fortunate in this country. And I know, Janna, you and I have had discussions about this, that we write a lot of grants, and that becomes an entire skill set in and of itself. But I'm so grateful that possibility exists here, because it means that your Allegra Chamber Orchestra and other female-centric projects have even a possibility of getting off the ground.
Take all my struggles and build them up high, oh so high. I'm gonna rise, gonna take all my darkness and shine it in the light. Take all my struggles and build them up high, oh so high. and shine it in the light. Oh, the light. No, I'm gonna rise. You know I'm gonna rise. Rise up. No, I'm gonna fight. You know I'm gonna fight. Fight the fight with you all this life. I've loved you all this life. My love, I'm looking for the light. I'm searching for the light in me. The light in you. The light in me. Oh, the light in you. Your light in me. The light in you. The light in me. Oh. I'm gonna rise. I'm gonna take all my struggles and shine it in the light. All the light. No, I'm gonna rise. You know I'm gonna rise. Rise up. No, I'm gonna fight. You know I'm gonna fight. Fight the fight with you all this life. I've loved you all this life. My love, I'm looking for the light.
as roots makes its way in the world and more people experience Ostara, whether it be through listening on their device or live, what do you hope people experience and take away from listening to the music of Ostara?
I really hope they feel uplifted and empowered. Again, I think it's so Canadian, this album in particular. I love the richness of everyone's backgrounds shining through and celebrating that. And in our current world, I think to celebrate diversity, to recognize that in Canada, most of us are immigrants to this land, and that has made us a strong people by sharing those roots and those cultures and not having to leave them behind. And perhaps the humility of recognizing that we've all been in vulnerable places and come with great hope to have a new life. I hope that people hear that, and I hope they hear just the joy of, as Jodi put it so well, of good conversationalists, good music conversationalists, really reveling in talking to one another. The more kind and supportive talk we have in this world, musically and in all other forums, that's a good thing to promote. So
Absolutely.
I hope that's what they take away.
How about you, Jodi?
Yeah, I mean, we said it. So I think I want people to feel hope. I want them to feel hope, the promise of a new day that is just about community and the healing power of music. I also want people to feel, as Lisa said, empowered. And I think as we hope, I had a great conversation on a podcast in DC called The Future of Jazz with Ed Smith, who's a wonderful jazz radio host out of Washington. And he was very emotional talking about the album. Those folks down in the States are really struggling with a lot of what's happening down there, scary things. And I want to see it as a love letter from Canada. We have these really strong, powerful women living on this, and women presenting and non-binary people and everyone who are super comfortable in their ancestral stories and don't feel like we need to yell it at the person across the table from us to talk about our story is worse than this story. And I also think it's important when the next album comes out, Wings, that we have an Indigenous voice. And my dear mentor and friend, Carrie Williams-Davidson from the Haida Gwaii, which I have had the great pleasure of working with her on projects. And she sums it all up at the last piece, which is the call to the ancestors. You know, we're standing on the shoulders of that has brought us to this place and this time on this land. They are inviting us to do right by all of their stories and all of their trials and tribulations and struggles, and to really start to be gentle with each other and the planet. And I think when it's done through music and song and these gorgeous voices and sounds, I think it's optimistic and beautiful and hopeful. And that's what I hope, that we can spread that around the world, really, ultimately.
I think that's the perfect way to wrap up our conversation. Lisa and Jodi from the Ostara Project, thank you so much for being my guest today on Musing.
It's been a delight.
Thank you for having us.
This has been Musing on CJSW 90.9 FM in Calgary. I'm your host, Janna Sailor. Thanks so much for joining me for this celebration of music, creators, and ideas. Musing is a production of the Canadian Music Centre Prairie Region and is heard right here in Calgary and around the world. As we end our time together, we recognize that there are more than 630 First Nations communities across the lands that we now know of as Canada, representing 50 distinct nations and Indigenous languages. In addition, there are Métis in every province of the country and 53 Inuit communities speaking different dialects of Inuktitut across the north. We acknowledge them as the original music makers, dancers, creators, and caretakers of our lands, and they continue to inspire and teach us as we commit to learning and moving forward together. I'll leave you now with more music from the Ostara Project. Thanks so much for listening and for supporting Canadian music and creators in your community. Until next time, take care.